And we have some fantastic listeners. We have a very, very sort of engrossed audience of people who are really looking for this content. And this is one of the reasons why we began Susu, because there's a lot of great Africans doing amazing work on the continent, right? Great things. And sometimes, they say Google is your friend, but it's very difficult sometimes even to allocate what is it that you're actually looking for, because representation matters immensely. So when you're looking for somebody who's already achieving the things that you want to, endeavor to sort of to do, where do you begin to find these individuals? And this is really one of the reasons why you're basically here. You have a tremendous track record in terms of what you've achieved over the years, and we do want to actually delve into it today. But this season we're talking specifically about industrialization, manufacturing, and the role that it plays in the growth of tomorrow's Africa. Now, for somebody who comes from an aviation background, for somebody who's been in the travel space for quite some time, how many years has it been now?
17 years.
Exactly 17 years. So this is
thereabouts.
It's quite, you're always coming to a milestone yourself, aren't you? So tell us a little bit about how it is that you started, and how the industry has been for you over those 17 years so far.
Thank you very much. For me, I think being an entrepreneur is a spirit that is inborn, that's the truth. People will say to you that you can grow to become an entrepreneur. Yeah, quite all right, you can, but there are certain attributes that are actually inborn, and that's what forms your personality. And I think for me, being an entrepreneur is something that is an inborn for me, because even while I was in the bank, I've always had my mind on doing business. And when I had the opportunity of studying economics, it dawned on me that, yes, I didn't just study economics for nothing. I could have done any other course. But economics speaks to economy, speaks to the way business is done and all. So for me, when I left banking in 2006 to start my business, I knew that I wanted to do something different. I wanted to go into the aviation industry. I particularly wanted to run an airline. That was the starting point. And I said to myself, to run an airline is capital intensive. 2, I'm moving from an industry to another industry completely. And I realized that if I'm going to move to that industry, I need to understand the rudiment of that industry. And to understand the rudiment of the industry, it means you must start from the base level. In every industry, we've got what we call the downstream sector. We've got what we call the midstream sector. And we have the, what do you call the last one? For the lost of words now.
You said it was midstream, downstream?
An upstream sector, sorry about that, So I realized I have to start from the downstream sector. And travel happens to be at the downstream sector of the aviation industry, so that I understand the commercials. So I ended up floating a travel agency. Now, floating a travel agency is not something that quite a lot of elites wants to do. It was an industry that was considered to be for retired women, retired airline workers. And that's what you find there. So
explain to me a little bit. Sorry to interrupt you. It's floating an airline. What does that actually mean in practice? What exactly are you doing there?
To float an airline or floating a travel agency.
Okay.
They're two different things. Mm-hmm. A travel agency is like a middleman that sells tickets on behalf of the airlines. And for you to go to now float an airline means that you must have the experience, the capital to be able to do such a huge venture.